time, right? Like
It's been 3 years probably.
yeah, because you came to Tampa, Orlando, something like that, like 2 years ago, when it was just you, me, and the whole crew, and we were like showing each other like the good stuff and like making money and landing clients and stuff like that, right? Like that was a long fucking time ago.
Yeah. It doesn't seem that long, but I think that's been at least 2-3 years.
Yeah. And since then you've bought a house, you've gotten married, like life is moving forward, which is pretty darn cool. And we've never actually like sat down to talk about you and your journey and how it all happened and all that. And I think this is like a really cool chance to do exactly that, right?
Absolutely.
So like, how did you get started with Facebook ads? And before you give your answer, like I got to tell like the context, right? And so like my start with Facebook ads wasn't like a Ty Lopez or Russell Brunson. My start was Dan Henry. That was the first person that was like, if I can do it, and like his position was like pizza boy, like then you can do it. And my positioning was like MBA graduates, like if this guy can do it, I can do it. Did you have like a similar experience? Was Dan Henry like first one, or was like a totally different journey for you?
No, for me, it was more kind of Ty Lopez, I guess.
Yep.
I guess I first got started with e-commerce, and I started doing really well with e-commerce. We actually sold a bunch of bracelets, anklets, and necklaces. Like we bought it from Alibaba for like $1 each, and we sold them for like $15.
That's like what you see on like some dude's YouTube channel. That's crazy.
So we started with that, and then like once I realized like if I can make freaking money on an online store selling Alibaba products, I was like, I can do this for local businesses, no problem. And then that's when I started seeing like Ty Lopez ads in my garage, like that type BS.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I bought a $997 social media marketing course from Ty Lopez. And so I started kind of going through that course and whatnot. And really, that's how I probably got started with the whole Facebook ad side of things, was really kind of because of Ty Lopez. And I think the same case was with Ty Lopez, is why I turned into hating Facebook ads.
Yep. This was when you were literally like waiting tables around this time, right?
Yeah. So I was probably like 18, 19. I honestly don't remember, but I went to Iowa State University freshman year, went through a breeze, school. And then during that time, I was a server at a restaurant called Who Hot, which if you're from the Midwest, which is probably not a lot of anybody on here. It's kind of like a Mongolian. Go ahead.
It's called Who Hot?
Who Hot.
Oh, Who Hot. Okay.
Okay. It's a Mongolian grill place. It's freaking good. But that's where I started being a server. And following my freshman year, I started a construction job working like 7 a.m. to like 6 p.m., like exhausting, out in the heat all day. I freaking hated it. Construction's not for everybody.
Nope.
And then after a month, I literally called the dude. I'm like, dude, I quit. Like, this is it. Like, I'm done. And then fast forward, probably like another month, is when I started that online store selling bracelets, anklets, and necklaces. Again, we got them for like $1 off Alibaba. We sold them for like $10 each, so like huge ROI. And we did it through Facebook ads. And so that's when, the Ty Lopez stuff came in, and then I started a social media marketing agency. So it was really like, if I could sell online products, I could do it for a local business, like no brainer. And so that's where I kind of started getting that first client.
What was it like? Was it literally just you go on Alibaba and you place a bulk order for $1 and it shows up at your house and you sell it for $5 and hope you sell it for $5?
Pretty much. I mean, basically, yeah. Like first we started on AliExpress, which for anybody that does e-com, those two platforms. We first started on AliExpress. We actually bought the bracelets in bulk for a little bit higher premium, just because like AliExpress is like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like they're like sister companies or whatever. But then once we sold out after like our first 2 days of launching, I was like, shit, we need to get a lot of inventory. And so Alibaba is where you actually get like the actual manufacturers, and then they'll give you like thousands of bracelets or whatever for, $1 each or whatever. And so that's where that kind of came in.
So you're a waiter, you're a waiter at Who Hot, right? Who Hot. You're a freshman at Iowa State, right?
Yep.
And you've got this part-time construction job, and you're like, I can't do this no more. I need a better way.
Yep.
And you say, maybe I can do e-commerce.
Yep.
Did you do your own e-commerce ads trying to sell these bracelets? Or like, was that part of your Ty Lopez journey? Is that correct?
No.
You taught you how to do that?
No, not at all. Actually, we did the entire e-com, and I had a partner, but we did the entire e-com just solely off of like, let's just wing it. Let's put $500 into this, see what happens. and we did a lot of influencer marketing, Facebook and Instagram ads. But like we each, I think, put about $500 in, and we made our money back in like 7 days after we launched. We're like, holy cow, okay, we got something here. We ended up building the brand for about 2 years. We ended up actually selling it and back in March of 2018. And that's when I was like full time, like just Facebook ads for local businesses.
Gotcha.
And so that's where it kind of got into the website stuff, which I'm sure we'll talk about coming up here too. So
very cool. So you realize and you proved that your brain you can do it. That was like your oh my God domino moment. Of like, hey, if I could do this for me, I could do this for somebody else.
Right.
Did you ever feel like you got burnt out selling bracelets, or was it just like excitement the whole time? Like what was the trigger to make you say, all right, I need to start doing Facebook ads for businesses?
I think it was because we didn't like evolve in the marketing side of things. So like the brand just started slowly dying. And so that's when I was like, okay, crap, like this is not going to make me money. Like it's just slowly dying. No matter what we tried, it just wasn't working. So I was like, okay, I need to transition to something else before it's too late. And that's where like the Facebook ad client side of things came into it. So
gotcha. And did you take a specific course to learn how to do Facebook ads, or is it just learning? Was it back to the Ty Lopez thing?
That's where the Ty Lopez came in, was through his very brief course. I'm sure 90% of people have been in that course. It's so broad, but like that's where like I got the fundamentals of like how to run Facebook ads and like how to like build up an agency. Yeah. But I mean, the main chunk of how I learned Facebook ads was through my first e-com store.
Gotcha. That was where you learned everything you didn't know how to do, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Trial and error is really what it came down to.
So you noticed that your numbers went up, it broke your brain, so your numbers started to come back down, and you realized like, all right, it's time to do something different.
Yep.
And you said maybe I should be doing Facebook ads for other people, because you ended up doing pretty good at that. How did you find like your first Facebook ads client? Did you do like a curious student, like what I tried to do? Did you do a direct offer? Like how did you get your first Facebook ads client?
Yeah. So first I just tried cold emailing everyone in their dog kind of thing. And after like 10 days, I was like, okay, this isn't working. Like I can't do this at scale long term. And so I literally opened up my phone here and I was looking through my contact list and I was looking at names. I was like, someone in my contact list has to know somebody that needs Facebook ads.
Bingo.
And so I would text probably, I don't know, I texted 10 people within 5 minutes. I was like, hey, I'm trying to do Facebook ads for businesses. I've gotten these results through my online store. I want to try it for a local business.
Yeah.
And simply by just pulling out my phone, looking through my contact list, I closed my first Facebook ads client for about, I think it was $9.97, following the Ty Lopez pricing model.
That's so cool.
But that's how I closed my first one, is literally just opening the contact list and contacting friends, because Johnny's got to know a buddy over there that knows needs ads for his salon or whatever, restaurant, whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's really just pulling out the phone, and go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you have this like weird fear that most people have when they ask these types of questions, like do you know anybody that wants Facebook ads, like being an imposter, or like I'm gonna do it? Do you ever have that type of like that pullback sensation, or you really had the confidence because you did it before?
I would say I probably had more of the confidence just because I did it with my online store. Like I even sent one dude like a screenshot of like our $30,000 month. I was like, I did this for an online store. Let me try this with your buddy's physical retail store or whatever. And so I think I did have a little bit of imposter syndrome here and there a little bit, but like at the end of the day, like you learn so much every single day. Like even yesterday on a website, I learned how to do this certain thing. And so like every day it's like you're learning something new. So it like, in my opinion, it's nothing to like really kind of hold you back kind of thing.
Very cool. It's just getting used to like being unsure and not entirely being confident, just that imperfect action type thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, if it wasn't for that online store, I probably never would have taken a Facebook ads client. And like the same thing, like a website, like the first time we did a website, I had no idea what the hell I was doing, but I learned as I was doing it kind of thing.
So what was it like you sent a bunch of text messages and you said, hey, is there anyone that of anybody that wants Facebook ads that got these results before? Like, did that person pay you immediately, or like, did you have to like pitch, or what was it like having that first conversation with the first client that could pay you Facebook ads money? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So actually we met in person, which my heart is just like racing. And turns out we're meeting at a Hy-Vee, which is like a grocery store around here kind of thing, but they have like a cafe in it.
Okay.
And so I actually drove to the wrong location. He texted me. He's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm at the restaurant, or I'm at the cafe." He's like, "I don't see you." And then he sent me the address. I'm like, "Shit, I'm about 2 miles away." So then I drove 2 miles over there. I run in there like, "Sorry, I'm super late." But then like I had like this following Ty Lopez model. Like I don't remember if it's like a pitch deck or kind of like a PDF showing your services, but like I had like a PDF on my computer. We kind of went through like a pitch deck, kind of like just showing it like super briefly. Like I was kind of like making shit up as I was going, to be honest.
Yeah.
And we ended up kind of doing like I think it was a 7-day trial, if I want to remember right. I honestly don't remember fully.
Yeah.
But he ended up paying me $997. I don't know if it was after 7 days or if it was right on the spot. I honestly don't remember. But he ended up paying me $997 for it.
That's so cool. So you just sat down, had a conversation, showed him, had the confidence to speak through things that you weren't sure about.
Yep.
And the 7-day trial. So like in the 7-day trial, it was like, I'm going to run ads for you and hope you get results? Or did you have like what it was?
That's basically, I was like, I'm going to run these 7-day free trial. I'm like, I'm going to hope to God this works because I need your money kind of thing.
Yep.
And lucky enough, it somehow worked out and closed them kind of thing.
That's so cool. And did this become like a repeatable process for you? Like when you wanted another client, you would just send more text messages, 7-day trial. Like how many clients did you get up to until you decided to transition again? Like you did e-commerce, you noticed the trend, Facebook ads trend, and then web design. So like how many Facebook ads clients did you end up getting at your peak or something like that? I'm not really sure how to phrase it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, everything came through my phone. I never, after like kind of doing cold email for a while, I started up a little bit and I think I got one client through cold email, but like at scale, like you have to send like 1,000 cold emails to get maybe like 5 calls.
Yep.
So I was like, that's a waste of my time. So again, I just pulled out my phone, go through my contacts. I was like, okay, Tommy here has to know somebody.
Yeah. And
so that's where I got most of the clients, or it came through like a referral. If you do a good job for clients, they will refer you to whatever, especially if you have a referral program. And I would say at my peak, I want to say it was like 9 clients.
Very cool.
And that's where I was like, I hate this. I hate this. And so that's what's kind of like the peak. And so that's where it kind of transitioned a little bit into kind of the web design stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was 9 or so.
I think that's like so honest. Like you're allowed, by the way, to hate your clients. And there's a million reasons why you can hate your clients, whether they aren't ready for you, whether they're just bad people, like structure their business as a challenge. Like I'm experiencing this now with like carpet cleaners, which is like fundamentally at the core, like their structure of their business is such that like they can never make serious money. Yeah. Like if carpet cleaners as an industry ever become so high in demand, more carpet cleaners just join up, right? It's unlike like neurology or like neuroscience or like pediatrics. Like there's a 10-year lag between demand and supply, and that's where an agency can like mix the difference. But with carpet cleaners, like in 30 days you have a competitor. Like it's just not going to happen, and that just makes me and my clients hate each other, and that's exactly what you experience, right? But did you feel like how long ago were you doing Facebook ads before you transitioned into website? Was it like 3 months, 90 days, 6 months?
Again, honestly, I don't remember, but I want to say it was like probably 6 to 12 months. Like I got like 9 clients within probably like 3, 4, 5 months, somewhere in there. Just again, through the contact list. Like people don't utilize that enough. So it is a pretty short stint where like it was like bang, bang, bang. I was like, holy cow, I'm making a ton of money.
Let me know.
And it just, that's kind of how it worked.
Yeah, very, very cool. So you did Facebook ads for clients. You go to 9 clients just by a contact message. You realize you hated clients, but you still had to make money, right? Like none of us are in this like very unique position. Like, you know what? I hate my clients and I hate my job and I'm gonna rely on my trust fund. Like you're not that person, you know what I mean? So like, if I remember correctly, how old are you when you said, you know what, I'm gonna transition off Facebook ads into different client work?
Yeah, so I want to say I was like probably 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
I think I dropped out of college when I was 18, 19, somewhere around there. So I did about a year of Facebook ads, and I still kind of consult on Facebook lead generation a little bit now, but not as much. But I would say 19, 20 is probably when I transitioned from like all Facebook ads clients to web design clients. And like when I switched, like my freedom with Facebook ads was like here, and then my freedom with like web design was like way up here. Like I had so much more freedom. I was happier. I was more energized to actually show up to work every day in my home office. Like I was just more energized, ready to kind of go with the thing.
That's so cool. So like your agency, like doing work on behalf of other people, you realize at your core with you and your culture, like I don't like doing Facebook ads. And you said, I need to find a better way. And you just changed a little bit in doing website. But like, how did you go from like, I can do Facebook ads to doing website? Like I know you use Webflow, but Webflow wasn't a course back then. Like nobody taught you how to do it. Like, did you just wake up and say, I'm going to do a website? Like what made you say, I'm going to do a transition? You know what I mean?
So we actually had a trouble with one client, like 2 months, like for 2 months, we were just getting awesome results, whatever. Month 3, like it just died down. And
Facebook ads, right?
Yeah, Facebook ads. Yep. Month 3, like Facebook ads just died down. And so when I looked at his website, the mobile optimization just went to complete crap.
Yeah.
Like nothing was like the images are like running off the screen. You could scroll left to right. Like nothing was optimized. And so that's when I went to clients like, hey, you know, your website is complete crap.
Yep.
Like that's the reason why we're not getting you more leads. And so then I was kind of like, okay, crap. I need to learn how to build a website.
Yep.
And so that's when I kind of started researching, and I went on WordPress. I figured out how to do hosting. And then I figured out that you can go to themeforest.net.
Yep.
You can buy a WordPress theme for like 20 to $100. So I'll just say $50 to make it even number. I'd buy a theme for $50, throw it on a WordPress theme or a WordPress hosting, and then basically plug in that theme. Then you just plug in their content, and then boom, you could have a WordPress site live in like a day or two. And so once I figured out how to do that, I went to the client and like, hey, I can build you a WordPress site. It's going to take me probably about a week. And he said, great, we need this. And then he asked me how much. I was like, well, shit, I was just going to do it for free as part of my service. Yeah. And I think I kind of stumbled out of my feet because like I didn't know what to say. I think I said like $500. And he said, great, charge me. I was like, and I remember going into WordPress like later that day, and I built him a site in like a day. And it probably took me like maybe 3 hours. Like I'm super tech savvy. I can learn pretty quickly. Yeah. So I was like, I just got paid $500 for like 2 or 3 hours of work, and I don't really have to touch it anymore. And that's when it was like web design is the move. Whereas Facebook ads, you got to like constantly monitor that. You got to make sure that like your ads are optimizing, and like, I don't know, you know, to me, like that switch right there was like, this is it kind of thing.
It's so weird because I also got my start in web design, and your exact experience going Facebook ads to web design was my exact experience going web design to Facebook ads. Like it's the same journey, but just the beginning and end of switch, because like when I had web design as an agency, I would do it on behalf of other people, and I was charging people money. And it blew my mind that people were paying me to do this, because I remember doing this in undergrad and college just to dick around on the internet, right? Like you find ThemeForest, you're like, that would be cool. And then your brain is like, I could have a million different businesses, which is not how it works, right? Yeah. You find ThemeForest, you're like, there's the cleaning business format, and there's the car dealership. I could be a personal trainer, that type of stuff. I would buy it, mess around with it. And then I remember talking to one of my Facebook ads clients, and I have a consistent culture and theme of like solving the next problem. Like there's always another problem, just solve the next problem. For you, your client's next problem was their landing page, and you built a business around that. My client's problem was getting phone calls, and I built a business around that. So it's not the same as like, it's not as different as everybody imagines. Right. But the idea that there is the same, which is like really cool, because you just wanted to honestly solve his next problem, right? Right. Very, very cool. And so like, so he says, how about $500? You're like, oh shit, I should have said 5K, but like, you know, like it takes you 3 days, but like now that the website is done, I mean, one of the benefits of Facebook ads is like, maybe they'll pay you next month. What happens now? Right?
Yeah. You mean kind of like in terms of getting more web design clients, or what do you mean?
Yeah. Getting the next web design client, getting them to pay you again. Like, what does that look like? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think I got the next web design client through the kind of the same process, was like telling a client, like, your website sucks, even though like it was okay. Like it was performing okay, but I was like, I want some more money. Like I'm going to see what I can do and try to make it sound better, which I did. And it converted better once we did it. But I did the same approach. Like, hey, I'm going to build you a new WordPress site. I'm going to charge you $1,000. And he said, great, let's do it. And so that was kind of how I like upsell them into another service. And so then like they would stay as a Facebook ad client, but eventually like I hate going to the ads manager. Like I do not like doing Facebook ads, even with like some of my brands now and my businesses. We've got an agency or Facebook ads guy on the team taking care of it, so I don't have to. But kind of creating monthly recurring revenue in the web design agency side of things, there's a couple different routes, such as like you can offer SEO packages for a monthly fee. You can offer just website maintenance, like adding new blog posts to their sites, stuff like that. Or even kind of consulting in terms of like their overall marketing strategy, their SEO, their Google ads, their Facebook ads. So like there's still a lot of ways to create monthly recurring revenue through web design.
Gotcha. So what I think is really interesting is like for Facebook ads, like for me in my experience, like 1,000, 1,500 is like a medium yes. Like you're going to have to like effort a bit, but they'll pay you $1,500 a month. But I'm seeing $11,000 website builds. Jarod, what the frankenbean? Because when I built websites, I was lucky to get $2,000, and you're getting like a year's worth of Facebook ads management fees up front, right?
Yeah.
So what does that like look like? Like, how do you sell somebody like an $11,000 website? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's where it kind of comes into like the price anchoring and like really kind of letting your designs sell for yourself. So kind of fast forward, like I did WordPress for a while. Then I started realizing that like WordPress plugins were complete crap. WordPress hosting was like super laggy. Like it just was terrible. And that's when I discovered a platform called Webflow, which actually allows me to just design literally custom websites from complete scratch. And so that's kind of like a selling point that like, hey, I'm not going to use a theme from ThemeForest WordPress or ThemeForest.net, like the dude down the street, because if you have 50 people using the same theme, like it hurts with your SEO. I maybe made that up. I don't know if that's true. I doubt it. But I use that kind of my leverage. I'm going to build you a fully custom website on Webflow. Here's how long it's going to take me. Here's how much it's going to cost. And so I went from probably charging like $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000 building WordPress sites with like themes, which is a great ROI.
Yeah.
But once I switched to selling fully custom websites, I went from selling anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000, and I usually don't get anybody to blink twice at some of those prices because I've let my previous work sell for me, and also kind of the price anchoring strategy, which I can talk about here shortly, that works tremendously for me.
That's so interesting. So there is a substantial difference between having a conversation with a client who has a problem, probably a website problem. Conversions are bad, doesn't reflect their business, not on brand. Like I'm always surprised at how much a small business owner anchors their self-worth to a website. Like it just blows my mind because like that's just not how my brain thinks, right? Yeah. But that happens a lot. And if they have a bad website, they believe that's the number one reason why they're no longer successful. And you're coming in and saying it's going to look effing awesome. And it's going to accomplish like all your hopes and dreams and all that fun stuff. But are you going in saying ROI? Are you going in and saying phone calls? Is there a direct measure result to this? Or is it just literally like you're going to finally be proud of your website?
Honestly, like you would think you'd go in saying like, I'm going to give you an awesome ROI. You're going to get more leads. But I kind of took the approach like, I'm going to give you a sexy ass website.
Yeah.
And 90% of businesses, like they just want their stuff to look good. And they believe that when their stuff looks good, they get better ROI. Right. And it really kind of comes down to branding. And so when we would build them better websites and better branding around their entire thing, they realized like the business started going up because they looked more professional. It just looked like they knew what they were doing. And so it helped them kind of generate their ROI in themselves. And so I started realizing like, hey, I'm just going to build you a sexy website. Here's how it's going to help you. And then we kind of took the approach of like, it's just going to help you look better. It's going to help you stand out from your competitor down the street. And when we would start building that, they would be like, holy cow, this is awesome. Like, thank you so much.
This is like the weirdest part for me, by the way. Like I come from like an analytics background, a finance background. I have like even like when I did marketing operations at Intel and Ericsson, it was like finance drives the numbers, right? But the weirdest part is that like when people talk about brand and PR and marketing, like they're anchored up to like $100,000. You can come in at like 11. They're like, this is a great deal. And I'm coming in saying like, what are you talking about? I'm getting 15 phone calls. They're like, I don't want that. Like, it makes no sense. But you've tuned into like a real honest market of like people that just want the $100,000 treatment. And you're coming in and saying it only costs like $10 or $11 or $12,000, which is like so effing cool.
Yep. And that's exactly it. Cause like, like I said, you would think they'd be so ROI driven. And there are business owners that like don't give a crap how it looks. They just want their ROI. But if you look at like 99.59% of every single local business, their websites are complete crap. Yeah. Like, they are terrible. So like selling to businesses is so easy on a new website because you can take it at so many different avenues of like, it's going to look better. It's going to help you generate more business. You can run ads to it. Like there's so many different traffic avenues coming in to that website. And especially like in today's age, like I don't go to a new restaurant without going to their website, looking at their menu and looking at some reviews and stuff like that. So like having those functionalities on a brand new kick-ass website helps tremendously for them.
So when you're talking to a business and you're coming in showing your previous work, custom website, all that fun stuff, do you have like questions that you're asking them to discover like a pain? So like when I'm talking about Facebook ads, I'm like, so how many phone calls did you get in the past 2 weeks? Is it stopping you from growing your business? Like, do you ask those questions too to like price anchor or something like that?
Yeah. So, excuse me. So it's similar to the same way. It's like, what's wrong with your website now? Like, what do you think is wrong with it? And 90% of them say it just sucks. Like it's not optimized, it just looks like crap. And that's really the main pain point is a lot of them just want something that looks prettier.
Yeah.
And so for me, like that's the easiest part to sell. Like, it's like, look at my design. Like you're going to get something like that. And they're like, okay, done. So honestly, a lot of the times for me, like I just let my work sell for me and it makes it super freaking easy.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like some other generic questions are, what's wrong with it now? How long does it take to load? Mm-hmm. You could look at 99% of businesses and most of them will load in about 4 to 7 seconds, which in today's time, like people don't have the patience for that. You need to load like 1 to 2 seconds. And so that's kind of like almost, I don't guarantee it, but I kind of say like, I want to make your website load in 1 to 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's what Webflow allows me to do as well. So kind of those little key points help sell it. And then obviously help close it. So
that's super interesting. And like what really is like tracking my eye in these third bullet points, by the way, is like you've worked for, what is it? Like Uber, Mountain Dew, Dove, Chrysler, like that's like a serious list. Like how did you end up working alongside subcontracting? Like,
so I didn't work directly with companies like Uber, Mountain Dew, etc. I actually had a client that worked for them.
Yeah.
And when I tell you this, your heart's going to drop in like a bad way for me.
No.
So again, this is how I got this client. I looked through my contact list. I was like, who can I sell a website to? And he was like, I know a guy out in Dubai who owns a production company that works with Dove, Uber, Mountain Dew, like Chrysler. Huge companies. And so he didn't tell me that until about 5 minutes before the phone call. So I'm over here shitting my pants like, oh my God, I'm about to have a phone call with a $100 million company working with making, they make videos for like Dove and all these companies that like, it's like $100,000 to $500,000 for production.
Yeah.
And we get on the phone call and I'm like, I can build you a WordPress site with a theme. I didn't say that, but that's how I was going to do it. And they asked me, so how much? I'm like, these guys work with Dove, Mountain Dew, and Uber. And I'm like, okay, I don't even know what to charge.
Yeah.
And so guess what the number I said in my head was?
So as you were talking about the heart drop, I was thinking of a number and I just said $997. That's just the thought in my head.
I said $1,500.
$1,500.
Yep.
And
they're like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
And really, I probably could have sold them, at the time I was like 19, I think 20.
Yeah.
Like, they're probably like, okay, this kid doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And so, if I would have knew what I was doing and like had the knowledge I had today, I could easily sold them for like 25, 50 grand. And for them, that's still like low ticket budget for them. But I sold them a website for $1,500, put it on a WordPress, use the ThemeForest theme, and like it looked okay, nothing spectacular. But for $1,500, I worked with a big production company charging like $500,000 for production.
That's crazy. And that just came in from like a text message or a friend of a friend or something like that.
Yep. And what's actually really nice is the guy that actually owns the company, super nice guy from Dubai. He's offered to fly me out a couple times already. I just don't know how it's, going over there just yet.
He just feels bad that you charged him $1,500 instead of 15 grand. Oh my God.
The thing that happened, I think it was like 5 months ago or whatever. He hit me up. He's like, Jarod, let's do a 2.0 on the website. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to do it for $1,500. And he goes, okay, I understand that. So we ended up closing that deal for $11,500. That's
damn.
what that came into. which is still probably low ticket for what they were looking for. But like, this guy loves me. We talk about once a week actually still. So like, and the thing is too, is like I earned his trust, and he works with these big companies, Uber, Dove, Chrysler. So like his connections are huge. So that allowed me to get my foot in the door. And he's referred me, I think, like 4 or 5 clients already. So like, it's crazy the amount of people that you meet know somebody else that can refer you work. It's really just comes down to just meeting people, putting yourself out there. I know it's super awkward and scary at first, but like it's made me so much money by just opening up my phone, looking through my contact list, and it's like, who knows somebody? That's
so awesome. And so like you're using not WordPress like I grew up with, but a program called Wordflow. That's like your USP or your newfangled tech, right?
Yeah, it's called Webflow.
Gotcha.
But what's really nice about it is like it's kind of like a drag and drop builder, but as you're building it, you're actually writing CSS code, HTML, like those fancy words, which I know nothing about. But like inside of Webflow, I can drag elements, I can add certain spacing. Like I have full custom capabilities to do whatever I want. And so if I'm sure there's some people on here that have seen my work. We build just absolutely amazing designs and amazing sites that just clients fall in love with. And it allows me to just say, like, here's my work. And a lot of times they'll come back and say, great, Jarod, how much? And so I've been able to close $5,000 deals without even having to get on a phone call because they see the work.
Yep.
And so it's like, it's amazing. It's really kind of a blessing at how everything kind of just clicked for me. I'm only 23 years old. So like, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
So you started your web design journey, part of like your agency journey, like you did e-commerce, Facebook ads. How long have you been on that web design journey? A year now? Year and a half?
No, I would say 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Do you think was this like really self-taught? Like you figured it out and like, all right, I'll just fail forward and spend too much time trying to know what works and what doesn't? Or did you have somebody like to guide you along that way?
No, honestly, I learned everything about WordPress and kind of using themes from Theme Forest, or I think there's one called like Template Monster.
Yep.
I learned all that on my own. And that's when I was kind of like, okay, WordPress is a little bit like, it's slow and it's laggy and the plugins are a pain in the you-know-what. And that's when I actually transitioned to Webflow probably about 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And kind of before that, I worked a lot with ClickFunnels. Jeff, you paid me money for ClickFunnels stuff.
Yep.
But ClickFunnels, in my opinion, people might say different, but I think ClickFunnels is going downhill. The platform's super laggy. Like it just does not work anymore. And so that's when I was like, all right, see you ClickFunnels. I'm moving to Webflow. I can build landing pages a lot faster. They look 10 times better. They load faster. They have better SEO. So that's when I kind of just started putting my head in the computer, learning Webflow. I looked on YouTube, and like Webflow is a huge learning curve, but once you understand it, like charging $2,000 or $3,000, $10,000 for a custom website, it's really not that hard once you get the hang of it.
And I think what's most interesting about what you're saying is like the average Facebook ad agency really has just a recurring dollar-driven relationship with a client. If you have other stuff to sell, you can make 2, 3, or 4 times your monthly recurring revenue immediately without having to wait 2, 3, or 4 or 5 months. And I think that's why ultimately, like, I wanted to bring you on to this interview, because like you can sell bomb ass websites to clients that are paying you $1,000, $1,500 a month. It's just another thing that you can sell. And then what happens, by the way, is if you come in and say, like, here's awesome work that we can do. We can make your plastic surgeon website look amazing, your dental implant website look amazing, your carpet cleaner, like whatever it is. All of a sudden, you're no longer the Facebook ads guy. You are the PR marketing branding guy. Yep. And that exists all the way up here. And people are like, PR is expensive, marketing is expensive, branding is expensive. You get to come in and say, like, yeah, it is. Yep. And it's going to be $5,000 to $10,000. What do you say? And you can make your 5 months up front and then still keep your monthly recurring with your Facebook ad agency. And I think that's why this is massively important.
Yep. And to even add on to that too, like you can just add it as another service, upsell it, downsell it, however you want to do it. And what's really nice too is you don't even need to do the website work if you don't want to.
Yep.
You could go on dribble.com. It's Dribble with 3 B's. It's just a place for designers. They share work. Guess what? Go search web design on there. Look at designers' names. Send them a message and say, hey, I'm looking for a designer. How much would you do for a 5-page website?
Yeah.
A lot of them will say like $1,000. great. So you're going to charge $3,000. You're going to pay him $1,000 for a design.
Yep.
You're going to pay somebody to develop it, and you're going to make an easy $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, whatever it might be, and you don't even have to do a damn thing.
Yep.
If you don't know web design, of course.
Correct. Which I think is like so effing awesome. Now, I guess the question that came in was like, you're doing all the websites yourself, right? Like that's your level of quality control. You're not doing the Dribble thing. Like you, the designer, you're doing your own websites. Is that correct?
About 80-20, I would say. I just recently got a designer on my team, probably about 2 or 3 months ago.
Gotcha.
That I give projects to once in a while, and honestly, he's starting to be very, very good, which is awesome for my part. I close a client. Here's how to design it, and then he's also learning Webflow, so I can basically give him the entire project for X. I make X return. I don't have to do a damn thing besides answer a few emails.
That is like so effing awesome. What you just said, I make X and all I have to do is answer a couple emails. That's the white label partner fulfillment partner relationship that I think we're all struggling to find, which is somebody that you can know, you can like, you can trust, they'll get the stuff done. All you have to do is make that margin. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you can charge $5,000 for a site. I'll source it for $2,000 and you made $3,000 for answering 3 emails.
That's so cool.
And that's what I've been doing was, a little while. I'm trying to kind of scale a little bit, kind of forming more of a team, and we're going to kind of jump it up a little bit. But that's a whole another ballpark that I'm learning. It's just every day there's something new that you're learning. But like I said, Webflow has just been an absolute game changer for my entire life. I went from charging like $1,000, $2,000 for a website to like $10,000.
What's really interesting is like this like learning curve and how an industry and people like evolve and mature. Like there's like nobody helped you do this, right? Like you had to like get the arrows in the back and figure it out and mess up the sales calls and like know what elements you can and cannot do, right? Like if you had somebody that was just like 3 or 6 months ahead of you, you would have shrunk your learning curve and been where you are now 2x, 3x, 4x as fast, right?
Yeah. Like I said, I probably started web design when I was like 20. I'm 23 now, and I'm really kind of full gear on it now. But I mean, if I didn't learn everything on my own, I could have been where I was within like 6-7 months kind of thing. So it's been a huge learning curve. Definitely learned a lot. It's been a lot of fun, but yeah, for sure.
Very, very cool. And I think one of the last bullet points was something about price anchoring. Now I remember reading a marketing book about this. And so what I do, I call the top-down close. Like before I tell my clients how much it is, I say how much it costs if they go elsewhere. So like, look, Mr. Johnson, you're probably wondering how much this darn thing costs. If you go to New York style Madman agency, it's $90,000 before they talk to you. If you're paying for someone else's Biscayne Bay views, it's $50,000. Going down the street, it's $10,000. I only charge $2,450. And I guarantee, is that what you mean by price anchoring, or is there something completely different?
So I do something different. So that's like one way you can price anchor it. I do it kind of a little bit different. So I actually learned this from a strategy from Chris Do on YouTube. I started implementing it like 4 or 5 months ago, and like it's been a game changer. So the first thing that I do is actually say, most clients, especially for a website, they have a dollar amount in their mind for that they want to budget. No matter what they say, they have a dollar amount in their head.
Yeah.
So usually within like the first 5 minutes, I'll try to get it out of them, because otherwise then I'm not going to waste the rest of my time. And so if they say, like my range is $2,000 or $5,000, whatever, the example I like to use is I use the higher number first. Mm-hmm. So for example, a lot of my projects are probably $3,000 to $10,000 range. So I'll say, hey, Jeff, most of our projects are around $10,000. I'll do a slight pause, let them really think about that $10,000 marker. Yeah. And I'll say $2,000, $3,000.
Yeah.
So then they're thinking that the $10,000 marker is like super high premium.
Yeah.
They're going to think that $3,000 is like low end. So then when I close them for about $5,000 to $6,000, $7,000, they think that they're getting one hell of a deal, because it's not that $10,000 marker and it's not that $3,000 marker. So it's kind of price anchoring high and then kind of low, and then let them fall in between.
Yeah. And that's how just brains work. Like there's no other way to do it. And that's like $1 billion marketing strategy. Like everybody is supposed to communicate that way. Otherwise your client actually doesn't take any action. All they're just going to be like, send a proposal or something like that. Right.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I just started implementing that like, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. And since then it's like, I can close clients for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 because I put it in that bracket. And I use $3,000 to $10,000 just because it's a good example. I'm going to try to start going from like 30,000 to 10,000 and see if I can land a client at like 15, 20K and just see what happens.
So one of the first interviews I did with a guy named Jarod Steffes, that's what he does. He only sells websites for $100,000.
Oh shit.
That's it, right? And the weirdest part is that, like, when I was talking with him, I was like, I don't believe a word you're saying. He's like, the weirdest part, and Jarod, maybe you can like tell me this, is like getting and servicing a $5,000 or $10,000 website. It's just as much time as a $2,000 website, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's literally the same time.
That's absolutely amazing. And I think according to Daryl, is that like it's the same at $100,000.
I'm sure.
Like,
it's
just, like, it's so weird. So,
and obviously that kind of varies on kind of the industry, right? Like a local business can't afford that, but you know, a tech company could, kind of thing. So it's really kind of also who you're targeting, I guess.
Correct.
You're going after, of course. So
yeah, he would only do business with universities. That was like his niche, right? And so when they've got like $1 million marketing budget, what's 100K to them?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And he probably has like templates that like kind of plug and play a little bit, or maybe does it from custom. I don't know, but like just it's the same amount of work depending on pages and all that stuff, content, whatever. So
correct. So we got a question coming in, and ladies and gents, now is the time to do Q&A because Jarod's time is like, I mean, you know the numbers. It's kind of valuable to have him on the show. Somebody asked about like copy and services migration costs. Like, what does that look like? Are you writing the copy? Is that included? Are they writing the copy? Like, what does it look like when you don't know what headline to put? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for me personally, I don't know copy. I don't do copy. I don't touch it at all. I just build the damn thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of give the client two options. Like, hey, you know, like most clients are super picky about their copy. Like they want it to say this, they want it to say that. So what's really nice about Webflow is it really is. So 90% of the time, I just let the client do the copy. Like, I don't worry about it. And what's nice about Webflow is they have kind of two viewpoints to the website. They have a thing called the designer, which is where I actually build the thing.
Yeah.
And then they have a front end called the editor. The editor feels like a Shopify type feel where like if you click on a heading, you can change it.
Yeah.
You click on an image, you can change it. So what I do is I develop it. I give them access to the editor. And then they could just go in and change the copy to however they want. So we just design it using dummy text, like this is a headline, this is a paragraph, Lauren Edson, whatever. And then they can just fill in the copy as they go.
Wait, Jarod, you're charging, hold on. You figured out how to charge people like $5,000 and then they write all the stuff on the website.
Yep. There's one sales call, I kind of said that and he's like, so what am I paying you for?
Yeah.
And that was the first time I got that question. I was like, that's actually a good question. And I kind of stood there for like 5 seconds. I was like, because I'm going to build you this. And I just showed him examples. And then he fell back in love again. I was like, all right. So it's, you know, not every client's, you know, sales calls are sales calls. Some clients will fight against you for it. And some clients will be like, okay, let's do this. And that's just where the kind of the sales calls come into play. And obviously you like learn something new on every single sales call. Yep. But yeah, and then the option two is that I do say like I can do copy for you, but it's gonna be another $2,000, and then I'll just find a copywriter to do it.
Gotcha.
So yep.
That's so interesting. I love the idea of like as a Facebook ad agency, there's always more problems to solve. And if you know that your client isn't picking up the phone, you have this like unique obligation to like be like, all right, I'm gonna present you a dollar-driven opportunity to answer the call. If you know your client is losing money because their website doesn't X, right? You're in a very unique position to like have a dollar-driven relationship, say like, we're going to solve this with X. And the margins are huge simply because you're solving a massive effing problem. And you've proven that to me time and time again. Like when I paid you money, it was like, great, this has solved a problem. I bet when your clients pay you money, it solves a problem. When the guy from Dubai that charges $500,000, when you charge him money, you were solving a problem, right? And I think that's really darn cool. So like, do you have like a specific process that you go through with Webflow? Like I've got the wallet out campaign. We do customer research, landing page, thank you page, shop bumper sequence. Do you have like a wallet out campaign for your Webflow tech, or like what does that look like for you?
Yeah, a little bit. So like, let's say, you know, we got off a sales call, I closed you, whatever, we do the agreement, whatever. The next step is actually creating a design. So we don't just go right into developing your website. We actually design it first using a platform called Sketch, which is kind of just used for like designing. But we'll actually create like a design of your website before we actually build it live.
Yeah.
And then once we have that design, so you could say like step 3, I think it is kind of the design phase. After we make the initial design, we do 3 rounds of revisions where they can say like, okay, I really like this, but I hate this kind of thing. We just make those rounds of revisions just included in the price. After they approve the design, then we go into development. We develop the website, and then step 5 would be to actually, help them integrate their Facebook pixel because they don't know how to do it, how to add their domain, that kind of stuff. Like that's kind of a selling point. Is like we take all the tech off of you. Yeah. Most businesses don't know what the hell they're doing with it. We take the tech side off of them and we do it for them. And they're like, okay, that's great. Let's do it. So it's kind of a 5-step process. First is kind of the brainstorm, kind of like, just to learn about your business. Step 2 is kind of the structure of the website. So how many pages does it have? A blog, contact page, like just your pages, your wireframes. 3 is the design phase, 4 is the development, and then 5 is kind of your delivery, launch, make sure your domain's connected, that kind of thing. So yes, there's kind of a wallet out campaign, I guess you could say.
Do you find that most businesses are more excited about we'll set it up for you in the tech thing than like the design part? Because when you said we'll handle it, I was like, oh, thank God. Like I don't want to be on the phone with GoDaddy being the in-between. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and GoDaddy's the freaking worst. If everybody still uses them, please get away. But yeah, I would say a lot of clients just like that everything's kind of handled for them because then they don't have to, like you said, sit with GoDaddy for an hour and try to figure out what is a DNS. Like businesses don't know what that is. And so like for me, it takes me 5 minutes to do so. But for them, it'd take them like 2 or 3 hours. And so just kind of taking the tech and literally everything off their shoulders, put it on mine. I can get it done in like a week and like they're good to go.
Interesting.
And what's nice about web design clients too is like they're not on your ass about anything. Like with Facebook ads clients, and that's why I kind of got away from Facebook ads, was like they're constantly bugging me, they're constantly calling me. With web design, they know it's going to take anywhere from like a week to even like 8 weeks. They know that timeline because websites, they just generally know they take a little bit of time. And so they're just not bothering you all the time. You get more freedom. And that's why I loved it.
That's so cool. I like when I built my first website, for me, it was like an experience in like tech nightmares. Like I wasn't good at it. I didn't know what to do. I had to do all this Googling. But for somebody like you, like you're just so much more well-versed with Sketch and Webflow, which technologies those didn't exist when I was like trying to figure this out, right? So it becomes easier. You have higher margins. You have more space. And because if I'm understanding correctly, you've already told your clients it's going to take 3 to 8 weeks. They're not calling you every 15 minutes saying, where are my leads, buddy? Right?
Yep. And that's exactly like why I moved away from Facebook ads because like, number one, I hate just working in ads manager. I hate it. Number 2, clients would just bother me. Like one called me at 2 a.m. It's like, no, get away. I'm sleeping. And now when I transition to websites, early on, I set the expectation early that it's going to take anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks. And we actually lay out each phase of how long it's going to take so they generally know. That way they're not bugging me after 2 days saying, Jared, where's my website? So it created an honest relationship with clients and those expectations early. And it really kind of made me fall in love with web design. Just it's easier. It's more freedom.
That's so cool. And now you've got another venture, right?
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about that too or no?
I'm assuming you're talking about Muddy Bites.
What else would I be talking about?
I don't know. Just making sure.
Yeah.
So we started Muddy Bites, and I'm sure I actually saw, I think Alex talked about Muddy Bites in the comments already. I own a company called Muddy Bites. I'm sure some of you guys have actually seen it already. It's basically the bottom of a sundae cone. It's called bite-sized waffle cones. Is what they basically are. You guys will have to look us up. But we started on Kickstarter. We raised $16,000 in 30 days to kind of first start a production run. We stagnant for about like 6 months just because we had to figure out production because everything is made in-house from us. And actually, since November 4th, we have exploded from a team of 3 to a team of about 30 now.
Wow.
Hand making Muddy Bites. We are in 7-Elevens, Hy-Vees here in the Midwest. We do a ton with online orders. I mean, it's crazy how fast we are growing with Muddy Bites. And so that's why I'm kind of like in the transition of like web design, trying to kind of semi-automate it a little bit more. So that's kind of taken care of. So I can kind of focus on Muddy Bites a little bit as well. So like that's kind of a personal challenge I have right now is really kind of focusing my time between so much going on and like prioritizing stuff. And like I had a hard time with it at first. I'm slowly getting better at it. So
if I'm understanding correctly, you started off doing e-commerce, then Facebook ads and web design. And Muddy Bites is really the culmination of all three of those things, right?
Yeah. And I say this to some of my buddies sometimes, like Muddy Bites is like the first like legit big time company I've done, I guess you could say. Cause like the web design stuff is like, I guess you could say like freelance type thing.
Yeah.
But like Muddy Bites, like I ran payroll for 25 employees last week. Like it's crazy to think that I'm paying 25 people to work for me. And it's just crazy.
That's so cool.
So it's been wild, and over the next year, it's going to get very, very crazy.
Are you open to 3 or 4 like 15-minute strategy sessions for somebody that wants to ask about Sketch, Webflow, how you're landing 5 to 10K clients, and all that fun stuff?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. All right, cool, guys. So if you're interested in having like a one-on-one or group call 15-minute conversation with Jarod on how he's taking Facebook ads clients and getting 6 months worth of recurring revenue in like one deal, and then having them not talk to you and seeing if Webflow and Sketch and all that can help you move your agency in the right direction and make $11,000 from one sale,
right.
Just hashtag it Jarod my face. And then I'll see if I can connect the two. That's JAROD with 1 R, just Jarod my face. And I'll pick 3 people. He and I will work together, and I'll personally introduce you and make sure you can get the one-on-one time that you need. I think it'll be really darn cool to find somebody from the Agency Scaling Secrets group who's like struggling and challenged with Facebook ads, because like it's just not in their culture. It's just not in like what they do. Just like for Facebook ads, like they just didn't work for you, and find them something that makes them an F ton of money really fast with happier clients.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's really just kind of a learning curve to find out what works best for you. Like you said, like you came from web design to Facebook, like you found that Facebook ads work for you. And some people are kind of the opposite, like I was. So it's really just kind of testing the waters, whether you offer like 5 services at once and just find out which one's actually making you the most money.
Yeah.
And kind of going with that route. So that's personally what I did, and it worked out well.
That's obviously fantastic. So let me ask you this. Let's say somebody was starting from scratch, right? Like they didn't know what to do and how to do it. Like, is there an easy way that you know of to get like 3 or 4 people raising their hand and saying, let's talk about me buying a website from you? Do you have a process behind that? Or is that just something that you try to keep like close to your chest on that?
You mean like trying to get like 5 clients themselves, or?
Yeah. So like, let's say I'm starting from scratch, right? I don't know what to do, how to do, right? And maybe Facebook ads, great. So like cold email, LinkedIn, DM, value video, stuff like that. Do you have like a similar process as part of like get a client for web design? Or is that just something you keep close to your chest inside of like, what you do and how you do it?
No, honestly, I think I've mentioned it like 4 or 5 times. Honestly, take out your phone, look through your contact list, and I guarantee you, Tommy, John, Sarah, whatever, someone in your contact list knows somebody that has a business, whether it's a local mom and pop, a big tech company. Someone in your contact list has to have somebody with a business that you could say, hey, great. Like, I see your website's complete trash. I'll do it for $500. We'll do it on Wix to get started. Wix, Squarespace, like those are easy platforms nowadays. And you could honestly build a website on those platforms in like 2 hours tops, and you're making $500, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's honestly been my number one way, is just literally looking at my contact list, scrolling down, who can I talk to? Otherwise, it's like telling clients like, hey, send me a client. I'll pay you $500 on the spot.
Yep.
And like, it's just when you create good relationships with clients and you give them a good service, they will send you whoever comes across their way. And it just creates a good relationship on both sides.
So here's something that I don't think you said, but it's definitely something that I heard. If you are a Facebook ad agency and you've been in the game or in the journey for 2, 3, 4 weeks, you probably have a big list of clients that bought what you have to sell, haven't bought what you have to sell, or are thinking about buying what you have to sell. If they've already spent money with you, there's already this level of trust. So you can go to them and be like, hey, here's the script. Here's what we've done in the past. Here's what I can do for you in the future. Here's samples, examples. Like Jarod will walk you through the portfolio process, all that stuff. And now you've got somebody who's paying you $500, $1,000, $1,500 a month, happy to pay you $5,000 because it's PR, branding, and marketing, right? Yep. If somebody hasn't paid you money, they're on a list somewhere. You've got their email, their phone number. Present them an honest, dollar-driven opportunity. Like, hey, I get the opportunity to work with a guy that's built websites for Uber and Mountain Dew and Dove and Chrysler. Is this something you're interested in taking a look at, right? If there's somebody that's like right over the edge, it's like, hey, we're going to throw in a website and get this up and running. And so that way you as the agency can make money and your client can get more dollar-driven opportunities, which will be pretty darn cool.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's always been a pleasure to have you on the show. I think like you're on a really cool journey. You start with Facebook ads, or sorry, with e-commerce and Facebook ads and website design, and it's kind of capstoning with like your current business right now. And again, ladies and gents, if you're interested in having a dedicated one-on-one session with Jarod Steffes, just hashtag JarodMyFace. That's Jarod with 1 R. And they'll be more than happy to show you behind the scenes of how he's doing what he's doing. So like, if you're saying, how the hell can I land a $5,000 or $11,000 deal? I'm pretty sure Jarod will just alt-tab, show you his stuff, and then you know, now you've got an opportunity to do it even further.
Exactly.
Was there anything else you wanted to bring up before we bring the sucker to a close?
No, honestly, we covered a lot of stuff, so I can't think of anything out of the top of my head.
Good stuff. Well, like I mentioned before, if you have any more questions, like leave them in the chat. Jarod will come back on tomorrow and answer any questions. And if you're interested in taking a free 15-minute one-on-one strategy session, just hashtag JarodMyFace. Jarod, great job. Don't hang up. I have to unbrief you or debrief you, but well done. Everyone go kick some ass, take some names. See you later. Bye.